I was in industry for a little while. I traveled full time for the consulting firm. And to be honest, I felt
Which
like I was good
consulting
at the
firm
job.
were you with?
Deloitte.
Deloitte. That's kind of
Mhm.
a big deal. Like, it's it's important that you share that little note. Deloitte is like one of the largest consulting companies in the world, one of the largest accounting companies as well.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I loved it. The people there were brilliant. They were assertive. I had a lot of really great role models there. And at a point in life, I could see myself being a Deloitte lifer. I could see
Uh,
myself making partner and, buying a boat and getting chubby and just sitting on the boat and doing nothing. But then
buying a boat and
eventually, I
getting
think
chubby. Okay.
big aspirations. But eventually, that the glitz and glamour of the boat kind of um, it lost its sparkle because I saw how difficult it was. I saw how challenging it would be to balance all of the things that I wanted to do and that specific career. So I thought, maybe this isn't a great fit for me. So
What
they
was the
haven't.
stuff that clued you into this? I'm sorry. We have plenty of time, my friend, so I like to get into the details. But
Yeah.
what clued you into that realization?
uh, there were a couple of senior managers that were trying to get partner, and they traveled 5 days a week. So, or 4 days a week. It was called the 3-4-5. 3 nights at the client site, 4 days at the client site, fifth night at home. So
Jeez.
Monday morning, every morning, we would jump on a plane somewhere to fly. And I remember being in this like, oversized, very uncomfortable business suit that I just did not fit in with like their, Deloitte issued little bag for my goofy laptop, and boarding this plane and very excitedly getting priority seating because I had flown like 100 flights a year. Uh, and then just sitting there in first class and thinking like this is cool, like I feel like I've worked hard academically to make it in this career path. But then when you spend every single night alone in a hotel room eating the same general food, making a decent salary but not being able to spend it on family and friends, and essentially missing every cool facet of your life on the weekends because you're too busy having calls with or conference calls or work calls or we call WebExes, um, with their offshore team for development stuff. I was in technology strategy. It kind of wears on you, when
For
you're
sure.
when you're crushing in 120 plus hours a week. There's not much life left to live. And then I
There's
thought, I'm not
nothing
sure
left to
if,
live at that point. I
yeah, like
mean,
I'm not sure if I want this.
so you were smart to at least go the consulting route because I feel like the dummies got convinced to go accounting. Because we were sold this pipe dream that, like, look, you go into audit, you go into accounting, and at the big four, you're going to still have your life. You're going to still be able to, you know, you're going to get paid less, but you're going to have quality of life. That's what the big sales thing was. And then once you start working, the culture is almost identical where you're encouraged to do 60, 70, 80, 100 hours a week during busy season. And you're like, I just got suckered into a job working about the same amount of hours and getting paid about one third of the salary, if not less. So we were the suckers. So good call
uh,
on the consulting side.
I guess. Well,
I
we both got
guess.
out, so I guess. I mean,
How
we're
long
both
did you
out
make it?
now.
How long did you go?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years.
6 years is a lot. That's like senior manager. Were you a senior manager?
No, so one of those years was still in college, so I interned with them, and then it was an up or out strategy for them. So what they did was before you made um, senior consultant or a manager or senior manager, you had to go back to school and get your MBA first.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it was my kind of golden ticket, and it was my get out of jail free card, because then I said, okay, cool, like let me look into this, and then I hired a consultant with this company who specifically uh, specializes in getting people into top MBA schools. So I thought, perfect, this is great. Let me pay a gajillion amount of dollars to have this woman help me do everything from craft my essays to make sure that I study for the GMATs, And then also helped me ace this interview because, as you can understand, I suck at interviewing. And,
I can't
you
understand
know,
that, but okay.
so that was a whole year process. And then I remember as I was going through this essay process, and there's this one school that has this one question that asks, what will you do with this one crazy life that you have? And it was hard for me to answer. And it was hard to answer authentically because I think what they wanted me to say was I wanted to go into investment management and baking and do all this stuff for this career and change the world and then maybe start a fund.
Yes.
And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to help people like me, people who may not realize that there was a passion there, women, minorities, Asian Americans, you know, and I just couldn't find the space for that if I was working a jillion hours a week.
Yeah.
So eventually the consultant said, "Hey, Nicole, maybe you need to do some soul searching." And I said, "Maybe, but I don't really have the time to do that." And then she goes, "Well, why don't you take the rest of this year and just think about it?" And it was only November, so it wasn't exactly like a whole year, it was a couple months. And so I took a couple months, thought about it, and my then boyfriend, now husband, reminded me of all the times that I bawled my eyes out on all the flights every time I came home, every time I had to board another flight, about how miserable I was, and that maybe consulting wasn't ideal for me. So uh, then I just said, okay, cool. Let me halt all my applications. Let me not go back to Deloitte. Let me go take pictures instead.